In a previous video, we took a look at how to create a hole block. In that video, we used points, and then we came back in and put the holes in. This time, I'm just going to show you how to use it straight from the hole command. We are going to go ahead and actually just get us a brand new design, and we'll go ahead and get a new SketchUp. So let's take a look at a drawing and kind of guide here. So I'm going to make the block itself. So I know that the block is 1 inch thick and it's 5 inches long and it's 2 inches tall. All right, so there's a few ways to do that. I'm going to say 1 by 5 and then extrude it 2 inches. So let's do that. So there's my 1, and I'll go ahead and make this 5, or I could just type them in, right? Either way. Now I'll extrude, and I'll bring this out to 2. Let's go ahead and get started on how to put these holes in. It's actually a pretty simple process using the hole command. I do want to take note of this though. So I'm going to take a look at this one first. So the 0.250 through, counterbore of diameter of 0.5 and a depth of 0.25. So remember, there's going to be the top part of the hole and there's the actual through part, or the small one, however you want to look at it. All right, so let's go back in there. So I'm just going to use the hole command, and I'll click on the side I want to put the hole. Before I do anything, I'm going to square it up, right? Then I'll come up here and use the hole command, and I'll click it in on that side. Now I know a few things, right? I know some of these dimensions. I knew that it was a counter bore. Then I know that the hole tab type on this one, there's no thread, so it must just be simple. And then the drill point, we can leave it an angle for this. We said the overall depth of this, let's go back and look. The overall depth of this is through. So let's go back to Fusion. For distance, we'll say all, because it's going to go all the way through. Hole type's counter bore. Okay, let's look at the diameter. What's the diameter of the counter bore itself? So let's do that. So looking at the counter bore, it's 0.50, and it's drilled to a depth of 0.25. So let's take care of that. So right here, this is going to be 0.5. And we said it's drilled to a depth of 0.25. Right? This all looks fine except for right here, the 0.45. Let's see what that does. That should actually be 0.25 because it's the through hole. So let's change that over. And we'll say 0.25. Now, here's where the issue lies. We've got the hole set correctly, but what we don't know is it located right? So from this line to over, is it right? From here to here, is it right? Let's take a look at those dimensions as well. So if we look at this first one, we can see that it's 1 inch over, and it's 1/2 inch right in the middle of that. So 1 inch over and 1/2 inch up. So for reference 1, we'll click right there and we'll say, all right, from this line, that should be a distance of 1. Okay, and then for our second reference, we'll click either the top or the bottom. It doesn't really matter. And we'll make that be 0.5. So now this hole is set up and I can just click OK. So now when I rotate it, you can see we got it. Let's go ahead and do one more from that drawing. So it looks like on here, we're going to look at this one here. So I can see it's 2 over and it's 0.5 in between. And then we got our hole information up here. This one's actually a countersink, right? So a countersink of 0.5, there's the 82 degrees, and it's 0.250 through. All right, so let's go back into Fusion and take a look. So there's hole. We'll click on this side again. We can go ahead, if you want to do, we could do the reference first this time, and we'll say from that line, this one's actually supposed to be 2 now. And then here's reference. The second reference, we'll say, all right, from this line, should be 0.5. Now we got to come in here and fix all this. Our distance, again, this one said through, right? So it's going to go all. Here is countersink. All right, so things do change up a little bit. Let's go back and try to remember those thread notes. So the diameter of the countersink is 0.5 and it's 82 degrees. Let's deal with that. So there would be the 0.5 right here. And then there's the 82 degrees. Now we do need to know the diameter of the small hole. So let's take a look at that. And it does end up, it is It is 0.25. So let's go back into Fusion and we'll say down here 0.25 and hit OK. So now we have the second one in.